Hello and welcome to another episode of Frogs Hollow TV. My name's Toby Cooper and joining me once again live from the studio is Geordie Batchelor. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, Toby. Good to be back in the studio, mate. Been a while.
It has been another busy little period in the off-road world, and since our last show we saw the unfortunate cancellation of the Warrior 200 here, and we sat on the back deck just there in over the back of the camera, and this wasn't about that freak storm come through Saturday night, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, mate, very unlucky over the weekend. I think full credit to the club. They went above and beyond to try and do everything they could to get him back on the track on Saturday after we had that inch on Friday night when that scud come across on Saturday afternoon and just called her off. But it was good to see so many cars at a state event. Like, I haven't seen it like that down the showgrounds.
It was packed, wasn't it?
Mate, on that Saturday it was packed, and it was good to even see some of the cars on display on the Friday down the street. Like, it was good to see that and get the town and the schools back involved.
You know, yourself and Nugget went up to the preschool on Wednesday before the race, and we see a number of other events do that as well. So hopefully, we'll see another big turnout at Warrior in 12 months. It's frustrating to say the least. I think it's got to wait another 12 months till it will happen again. But also, entries have closed for the upcoming ORC Decider at Kalgoorlie. Wow, what a field! 103 entries and 175 bikes, 103 cars. It's going to be a huge turnout. Looking forward to getting over there alongside my big mate Russ Cullen to call the action in a couple of weeks' time. We have to come over one year, George.
Yeah, buddy, yes.
Entries also open for the New South Wales Decider, the Kempsey 300. Yellowman's heading over, Bash, Brownie, a few local cars, Mike Mitchell. It's going to be a good turnout.
Yeah, it'll be good over at Kempsey. I think that's the biggest Warrior lineup I've seen over there in a lot of years. So that'll be good.
Get over there and see what we can do. Also, the Northern Territory titles, the last round of the Alice Springs Off-Road Club calendar. Mount Larkham Short Course, which concludes the Queensland Aora Championship, and also the Tasmanian Sand Enduro and Lochie Enduro. Entries are open for all those events, so stay tuned. We'll bring those up today. That sort of wraps up our season. Still a lot of racing to come, but we're heading towards the back end of 2025. Before we start tonight, George, I'd like to again acknowledge our incredible Frogs Hollow TV partners and contributors who have made our 2025 possible. With tonight set to be another jam-packed show, I spent a bit of time over the weekend going through some of our past shows, and I mean, we're definitely no experts. We just sit here and sort of try and bring you around the ground sort of wraps in the best way possible. But to see that the in-car and the stuff from Show and Go Media, Shane Hutt provides the goods, of course, Paul Dougie from Aussie Offroad Media, so many guys that contribute, that do make it possible, because sitting and listening to us for 20 minutes is just not going to take the cake.
Not without that footage, mate.
It's a beautiful aspect. On tonight's show, we have Aaron Haby and also young gun from Toowoomba, Lochie Waters, who just won the Dam Buster. So stay tuned for that coming up. So straight into our first event review, the 2025 ARB Teagles Excavations Pines Enduro 400, held down there in Millicent, South Australia. 55 starters, perfect conditions for racing. It was the final round of the 2025 ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Championship. And George, the weekend belonged to Victorians Dale Martin and Mark de Gruchy. They stormed a 4-minute victory in their Ford-powered Jimco. They started Sunday in third, and after retirements of Matty Hansen and Tom Owen, who sort of were that top two positions off on Sunday morning, they were never head, and Dale Martin just continues on being that consistent self, and now he's got those couple of wins under the belt. I think next year could be a big one for Dale Martin.
I think you're right, Tobe. I think he'll be hard to rein in next year if it all keeps going his way, but he seems to be putting them together thick and fast. So.
What a weekend it turned out to be for 2019 Pines Enduro champion Aaron Haby, completing the 6 laps in second place. Geordie started in 5th on Sunday morning. Of course, it was a reverse grid, but 5th on the outright times. Yep. It was another superb Haby performance in the team's Toyota-powered Element Prodigy. Second outright, and that wasn't the highlight for me. It was winning the 2025 ARB Australian Off-Road Championship. Started the weekend in 7th in those standings. but did enough with that second place finish at Waikerie in July, and of course Millicent, to take the number one spot in 2025. And I actually sent him a message just after the race, and he gave me a call back to say thanks and had a yarn about how he went. And didn't actually know he won the championship at that point, so it was a bit of a surprise to him and his wife Liz when I actually said, "Hey, I think you're 99% sure you won the championship." So yeah, hats off to him. And what are your thoughts on that? I mean, it was a bit of a shame to see Bowie Graham and Stewie Chapman go out. We saw Lochie Campbell have a few little dramas over the weekend, but Haby, I mean, ultra consistent, and you can't take it away from him.
No, you can't, mate. As you said, Bowie and Stewie Chapman, very unlucky. Like, I'd think that I picked them for the outright winners, but there's no one more deserving than Haby, and to be able to build the elements and then also win a championship in it. Like, how good's that?
It's incredible. Yeah. And I mean, he adds to his 2019 title that he won, his first Australian AV championship. That was the year he actually won the Pines Enduro. One of the great teams and families of our sport here in Australia. And I mean, it's always hats off to them. And I know they've got a couple more elements in the making at the moment, so interesting to see. Not exactly sure where they're heading, but they just seem to be all over the place these days.
Yeah.
Hats off to Aaron, and we look forward to seeing you back on the track next year. Haby finished ahead of South Australian Simon Tucker, who defended his second outright plate from 12 months ago. I think he finished sixth at the Pines on the weekend, another consistent performer. I know he lost a gear on those last couple of laps, so did really have to consolidate and sort of conserve and get home in his Southern Cross. But Simon Tucker is a man of a lot of words. He loves a microphone and a good chat, but great man of the sport, and that was good to see.
Great to see, mate. I also see I've seen a few highlights of him on the Saturday. He had a bit of a moment in the short section there, but he seemed to pull it all back together and put the weekend together, and come home with the second in the championship. Good.
Which back-to-back years is a big effort.
Yep.
Young gun Lochie Campbell finished third in the 2025 ARB Australian Offroad Championship. Went into the weekend in second spot. I mean, terrific again to see young Lachlan juggle with those bigger names and those especially bigger horsepower cars as well. He's just in that new Can-Am Maverick R, of course, GRC Motorsport. His dad, Greg, in the navigator seat. And they finished 11th outright for the weekend, but enough to leave him with that number 3 plate in the Class 6 Championship.
That's a great effort,
Oh,
Can-Am, mate, to get up there. Yeah, good.
Before going any further tonight, I was fortunate enough early in the week to catch up with the new ARB Australian champion himself, Aaron Haby. Enjoy. It's an honour to welcome back on the Frogs Hollow TV 2025 ARB Australian champion, Aaron Haby. How are you, mate?
Yeah, we're going very good. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, mate, we had a cracker weekend and still riding a bit of a high at the moment.
Yeah, well, that was the first point. Congratulations on your second outright finish at the Pines behind Dale Martin down there, and in doing so, securing your second ARB Australian title. A special weekend for you and the entire team.
Yeah, that was a super cool weekend. Had no expectations really coming into it. Just wanted to get the car home for a finish and sort of wrap the year up with a nice, good weekend and have a bit of fun. So the surprise was at the end there, which was pretty cool, yeah.
And tell us a bit about your run in the element, Millicent. Looks super clean all weekend. I know you said in your post-event interview with Sandy Bowman you made a few changes in that last service break to the car, and it just got quicker and quicker in the Pines as the day went on.
Yeah, definitely. We started the weekend off, I'd say, pretty conservative. So we had some targets we wanted to meet just to try and get ourselves through and look at, because that's an engine killer track. So we want to look after the engine, just get through, because we've done 2 engines there before and passed. So, and coming the last 2 laps there, we sort of put a bit more power into it and also tweaked a few front end jobs or screws in the front there. And yeah, she just come alive. It was good. I think we hit the road jump there down the main road there at 216, and we popped the wheelie. That was just like the biggest win for me to hear with me and Declan, so that was so cool.
That was good to see. I know the championship wasn't on the agenda heading into the Pines. I think you were sitting around 7th outright going into that final weekend. You had the DNF at Rainbow, of course, the Waikerie second, and then the washout at Gundawindi. But was there any time over the weekend that actually caught your attention and say, hey, we could actually win this, or was it just basically just looking for a podium at the Pines?
Yeah, no, we wouldn't even thought about the outright position. So we all sort of thought we'd do all right in the class position. So that's what we're sort of aiming for. It's why we after pretty well to get the class position. So, but yeah, to my surprise, at the end of the day, I was going, oh wow, that's cool. So yeah.
Yeah, really opened up there in that last Sunday, the championship, with the unfortunate withdrawal of Bowie Graham and Stewie Chapman. It's incredible to see so many elements running around. Aaron, we saw Seaton Battle win Charters Towers last weekend. Jared Percival's closing in. Well, he's got a big challenge, but he's a chance to win the ORC title at Kalgoorlie in a couple of weeks. It must still be pretty surreal for you and the family and the whole team to sit back and see so many of those Aussie-built cars doing so well.
Oh, it sort of gives you a good feeling for sure. And obviously what Carl, myself and Rowan have done. And it's just an awesome feeling to have those cars running. Obviously they're getting quicker and they're knocking us off now. So that's not so good. But anyway, that's life, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And just quickly, I see you're down as a potential co-driver at the Kalgoorlie Desert Race for an element in a couple of weeks. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, look, we just my mate Brad Cooper over there in WA wants a bit of a hand there, so we thought we'd just come over and give a bit of a hand and try and help set the car up. So yeah, it should be good fun. Looking forward to the track. It looks good. It looks like it suits our driving style. So I'm stoked. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Before we finish up tonight, anyone you'd like to thank for making the 2025 season possible and the championship winning year?
Yeah, look, we just got to thank our sponsors like ARB's big contributor, Raceline, and also Mickey Thompson. They've done an awesome job. My family, so Liz and Chelsea and the new navigator Declan, he's done a great job. He helped put the car back together when we bumped the tree there at Rainbow. That's been pretty cool. We've got Brad Eggers, he's a good friend. Alison, they all just worked so tirelessly to give us a hand. Wayne Tarvey, Carl, and all the team at Element, Rowan. The guys just help us out so much. So it's been really good. And been a great year and enjoyed it. So, yeah, it's just to top it off with a win is just amazing. So, yeah, it's cool.
And it was great to see a well-deserved winner. I still smile ear to ear every time I see the 57 on any video live stream, just how I did those couple of laps at Loveday a few years ago. Yeah, one of my most memorable moments in off-road racing, that's for sure. And it still gives you goosebumps when you see you go past to know that you've sat in that and rode shotgun. But once again, mate, thanks for joining us on Frog Solo TV. Congratulations on your second outright at the Pines in the championship winning year, and good luck to you and Brad at Kalgoorlie and for 2026.
Cheers for that, guys, and awesome.
No worries, there he is, our ARB Australian champion, Aaron Haby. Annie Brown and Daniel Hardman were the first car across the line in their V8 Illumicraft, but finished third outright, a further minute behind the Habys. And George, I know you're working that weekend, but it was great to see Andy Brown. He's just punching out consistent laps, and I mean, definitely one of the veterans of our sport now. He's done so much in off-road racing over many years, especially the last sort of 15 to 20 years since ARB Championship was sort of originated. But it was impressive to see him round out the podium.
Good to see him, mate. Couldn't think of anyone more deserved to be up there.
Class 1 victor Matty Curtis in his GRC Rhino and Razorback competitor Dean Carter rounded out a hotly contested Pines Enduro top 5. Always been a very big fan of Matt Curtis, watching him over the years, mainly around the SA State Championship, but hasn't been a medal so much over the years, to be honest. I mean, hats off to him, and another one of those performances that really stood out over the weekend.
What an effort. Get a pro light up there in amongst that. Like as you said, very fast-paced event.
Yeah.
Must have been swinging off her.
Other class winners at the Pines included Brody Tickner in his Class 10 Illumicraft, Class 4 veteran Peter Simpson, who continued his great season. I think Pete Simpson finished the Saturday short course in 4th spot.
I seen that heat that he was in on Saturday, and he was flying.
He was senator. It was good to see. I know his conservative was his approach on Sunday just to bring it home. And he did that. I think he finished 9th outright and give him the Class 4 championship win. Lachlan Campbell made it 3 from 3 Class 6 wins in 2025. Hats off to him again. I mean, outstanding achievement. Likewise, Michael Shipton in his Class 5 Ranger. Hats off to Shippo and Dugsy. Another terrific year. They won the ORC Performance Tour drive last year, back to that with the Class 5 this year. So can't go much better than that for the boys. In the Ford Ranger, Rossi Newman went all the way down from Warwick and battled hard. I don't think he quite finished the full event, but enough to do the Class 6 honours. Darren Grill in his patrol and Michael Hackney also collected Pines Enduro 400 silverware. For me, Joe, the big storylines from the Pines outside of our sort of results was the unfortunate broken drive coupler for Bowie Graham that ruled him out of ARB Australian contention. He's definitely my favourite heading into that race. I think sort of top sort of top 8, top 9 position would have been enough to get in that number 1 plate for next year. But we saw him stop, I believe it was around that sort of 30 or 40k mark on that first lap. Then he got towed back in the pits. The Griffith boys worked ferociously on the car, and he went back out, and he only got to about the 10k mark or something, and that was it. But he did tell me post-event that it was a broken drive coupler, so just, unfortunate, and just another one of those little things.
This wasn't meant to be.
Wasn't meant to be for him. And Stewie Chapman, of course, he had that major engine failure there. And in his little Chenoweth. The early retirements of both Matty Hansen, who broke the ring gear off his converter whilst in the lead. Another 2 blinding first laps for Matty Hansen.
Yeah.
I think Toddy Lehman was the only one that went quicker, but Toddy was sort of out of contention with that. Did a
power steering
rack on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Toddy Lehman, again, super quick, like always. I think he's going to be, I know we'll talk about it in the next episode, he's going to be a major, major contender at Kalgoorlie.
Yeah.
I think he's got nothing to lose. Obviously, he wants to win now. He's got the Robinson X Elphinstone gym car, and it's as good as it can be. And I just think paddle shift, he's got all the gear that can take him to a number of outright wins. And I did say after his win at Waker, I think he's going to keep going to the next steps. And I think he's going to be a huge, huge player in the West coming up.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think I've seen a little bit of the in-car footage of him with the paddle shift and that sort of stuff, and he's in that tight stuff he was swinging off, and it looked amazing from where I was sitting anyway.
And he's steering very well. 3-time defending champion Denny Brown lost all pressure Sunday morning. It put him out of play, unfortunately. We mentioned Brent Martin hit the early exit with electrical garmers on the endurance section Sunday. So what was your final take, mate, on the Pines for 2025?
Congratulations to Martin, obviously, for the outright win. There's a couple of hard luck stories, but don't really want to bang on about them too much. But, I think my final take of it was fairly dry, considering this. Like, I know it probably wasn't dry, but considering previous years.
Yeah.
But, I just think how good for Haby to also bring home the championship.
So moving on to our next event review, mate. Last weekend's KGN Electrical Dam Buster 250 held out St George. Another cracking little field, 27 starters. The big point for me was very dry, dusty conditions, which we saw on the Sakura live stream. It was Lochie Waters who claimed a 29-second victory, his second for the season and first in his new Can-Am Maverick R. George, there was multiple lead changes out there at the Dam Buster 250, but young Waters, he was there when the whips were cracking and he did enough. And I mean, you just got to keep yourself in the game, and he did that well.
Mate, consistency is key. We bang on about it all the time, but no, great win for him. And
he's quick. He is very quick.
And it wasn't a lacking field either. Like, there were some big names amongst there, and he's knocked some big names off. So congratulations to him.
I couldn't agree more. I had a good chat to him Saturday lunchtime, actually down at the local in the Warrior here, and he was looking forward. I think he would have been a big player at the Warrior 200 as well.
I think you're right.
Maybe not so much on the Sunday, but I think he would have been in the top 3 or 4 heading into that long course on sort of Sunday morning. But hats off to Lochie Waters, one of the nice young guys of the sport as well. I know we keep being on about that too, but he's a really, really good guy. And, it's great to have him in our sport. Fellow Can-Am R competitor Christian Reich crossed second outright in his maiden outing of the new Can-Am Maverick R. I mean, Christian Reich is another one that haven't seen him for a couple of years. He had the old X3. He sold that off to Cameron Von Dome. He's now in the new Can-Am Maverick R. Second outright, first run, lots sort of matching up there. He's obviously kept speed with Lochie Waters, who also won Derby this year. So Christian Reich next year. I'm interested to see, I think if he enters the Mount Larkham short course, which is sort of basically the last round of the Queensland Aora Championship. We'll see that coming up in a couple of weeks' time. But, another one to watch next year.
I think he'll be one to watch next year, mate. And he's what a debut in a car, finishing second outright.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, he hasn't raced for probably 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Now. It's been a while. I know he took some big scalps sort of when he was running that old X3, but hats off to Christian. Matty Lawless capped off his great year behind the wheel of his V8 Jimco, crossing in third, just 40 seconds off the Waters Can-Am. And Matty Lawless, we saw him at the Zooms Cup before. He didn't have the best to run at Don River this year, but Matty Lawless, another one. It's a sweet-sounding Jimco, that one, isn't it?
You're not wrong, Dave. When that thing's on song, it's on song, eh?
I agree. I think it's one of the nicest sounding cars in the country myself. Jamie Knight entertained the local crowd in his trophy truck, finishing fourth. I don't know. I think you saw it. That jump that he did over the finish line there, over the damn wall,
that was a pinnacle.
It was a pinnacle. It was nearly unlike Jamie Knight, though. He just Jamie Knight's always been slick, fast,
smooth,
but he's never been sort of that risk-taking driver, which is good. I'm not knocking it. Like that's our Shannon Wrench's won all the year. Mark Burrows is that sort of statue. Yeah. He's not like a Brad Gallard or a Greg Gartner. He just keeps it on four wheels. But I saw that and I was just like, Jamie,
what are you doing?
Yeah, what's going on? It was good to see. First of the Class 10 cars, Jason Keane was a further minute back in fifth. Other class winners from the Dam Buster included Dave Luffman, who I don't think he finished the event, but he got the Class 1 honours. Yep. Tony Dalton, Young Cry, Rossi Newman, Jackson Knott. Shout out to the young Jackson Knott there, the Knott Racing team. Good to see him there in the team's Can-Am. And future champion Cooper Robinson across the line with that class win. So good to see young Cooper out there at St George. And you would have watched these idols over the last few months. Of course, the George 399 and the Dam Buster. And it's great the way they can sort of just fold into the sport nicely. And I think across Australia, it'd be good to see that introduced as well, I think, into more states.
I think you're right. I'd love to see more young up-and-comers coming through it. Like, it's brilliant to see.
Can only be beneficial to the sport. Notables not to finish, mate, included early race leader Troy Duff. I'm not exactly sure what happened there to the single-seat Chenoweth of his old man's, but I can't wait to see him back out in the big car next year. And he's gonna ruffle some feathers as well once again. Brent Smoother, he broke a front diff, put down some really quick times, especially Sunday morning on that long course where it really opened up. But he'll turn his attention to the big one, the Kalgoorlie Desert Race, in a couple of weeks. And Naps, unfortunately, lost an axle when the circuit broke. I think he only had a lap and a half left. Had the race in his grasp. I know a couple of years ago he won the Dam Buster event, so we'd have been looking forward to try and replicate that result, his first appearance this year in the Illumi craft. And as you said, it's great to see Naps, Karen, Scotty Coleman, and the whole Trueline Earthmoving team on the circuit again. I mean, major partners of what we do here at Frogs Hollow TV, huge supporters of our sport, and Naps is just a true legend of the sport, isn't he?
But yeah, he is. He's a character.
He's a character. That's an understatement. Always a great event out there at the Dam Buster, Jordan. Hopefully we'll see a few more entries there in 2026. Yesterday I was able to get a few words in with the Dam Buster champion, Lochie Waters, after his success at St George. Take a listen. It's an honour to welcome on to Frogs Hollow TV for the first time, 2025 Dam Buster 250 champion, Lochie Waters. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good times. How are you, mate?
Going well. Firstly, big congratulations on your win at St George last weekend. I know it's your second of the season. It was a quality field and a surreal feeling to collect that victory.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, it's good to get back out there, St George. That's where we're from. So we out there 6 weeks ago for the National, and it was good to get back. Those boys out there always put on a great track, so it's really good.
There were many lead changes out there over the weekend, but you eventually finished 29 seconds ahead of Christian Reich, who's another one making his return to the sport, the new Can-Am. It was a tough tussle, and the conditions looked pretty dusty.
Yeah, it was very dusty. The track was hard. But going into that second day, I think the second section of 3-lapper in the second day, we'll sit in third outright. I had my brother jump in and navigate for me, and we thought this is pretty good. We're third out, we're run here. The first lap there, we come over the hill and we saw Smoothie roll, and he was jumping into the dam as we were jumping out.
Yeah.
So I thought he was out, so we were up into second outright, and then the next lap we saw Naps pulled over on the side of the road, and he was out too. So it was we were stoked to be in third outright behind two legends of the sport.
Yeah.
But then unfortunate they were both out, so we were up into first outright and had to keep the car together.
That's your second start now in the new Can-Am. You've had some good speed out at the St George 399, the national race. Terrific result. Any other plans for the rest of the season and beyond, mate, or just sort of sticking close at the moment?
Pretty done for this season. We'd love to get to all the AORC rounds next year, so we'll probably kick off next year's season with the Gundy 250. They've announced that, so in February, which is not too far away at all.
Now, for those that don't know a lot about you, mate, just give the viewers a little bit of insight on the Lochie Waters. You're formerly from St George, now in Toowoomba, and what do you sort of do off the track?
So I pretty much grew up in St George, moved to Toowoomba 8 years ago. I own a butcher shop here and now a, 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 go racing when we can.
And you got a little one on the way?
Yeah, another 7 weeks. We got a baby coming, so that'll make it interesting.
Exciting, mate. No, it's been great to watch you develop over the last couple of years. Would have been good to see at Warriata as well, but unfortunately the rain gods had other ideas that weekend.
Yeah, no, that sucks for everyone. I was really looking forward to that. To look at the show you guys put on down there, I was keen to give it a go, but anyway, next year.
That's right. I know you credited your old man a lot over the last sort of couple of years for the build of the new car, mate. Anyone else you'd like to thank to getting you to your second victory of the season?
Just Dad for building that new car. We got it done. We just want to get a couple of races in this year before the big season next year. But Black Truck and Ag, Mike Shock Shop, Method Race Wheels, Roland Cages who built the cage on the new car, Swift Electrical Group. There's a few good people helping us out to help us go racing, which is really good.
Very good. Looking forward to seeing you back out there next year, mate. Appreciate your time joining me on Frogs Hollow TV tonight. Congratulations on your win at the Dam Buster last weekend. All the best with the little one, and good luck to you and the team in 2026.
Too easy, Toby. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
There he is, Dam Buster champion, Lochie Waters. Last weekend also saw the running of the 2025 Gold City 450. Just 9 competitors took to the track there at Charters Towers for round 3 of the Motorsport Australia Queensland Off-Road Championship. And as I said, in the small field, it was Nortrans Racing Seaton Battle who broke through for his first win in the off-road world behind the wheel of his new V8 Element Prodigy. I know he did an engine at Don River, got a new one, Brink's Performance in for this weekend, bit of a test and tune result. But he probably logged in third, and he was never headed after Section 1. He finished the weekend's 8 laps, George, with a 5-minute margin over Daniel Lyons in his new Can-Am Maverick car. But all honours were with Seaton Battle.
Yeah, it's good to see him get up there. Like, he's only had a few runs in that new Element, and to put her up on the top step, that's going well within the first season too.
Lyons finished 2 minutes ahead of local Robert Turner in his Desert Dynamics Pro buggy. Peter Nuns and Rob Wearing, a couple of local guys, ran at the Gold City top 5. The Motorsport Australia Queensland Championship now turns to the final round at Mulgowie in November. Just to shout out to a couple of our Selitco competitors, Chris Sollett, he lost the wheel, and I think one of the big fans of the show, Davey Skinner, he had some gear. I think he lost third gear, so he pulled the pin there in the single seater. But always a likeable guy in the off-road scene, Davey Skinner. Now on to our only preview of tonight's episode. This Saturday's Weedon Pastoral Burrungule 180, the 8th and final round of the 2025 Southern States Off-Road Club Challenge, hosted by the Limestone Coast Off-Road Club down there in South Australia. And George, around 50 starters, and it's set to be another perfect weekend of racing, I believe, with all reports, no ducks once again.
Seems to be that way, mate. 50 starters, and I'll tell you what, there's a few good names in amongst them 50 competitors, but
championship leader, and I believe at the time of recording that Peter Simpson cannot lose the inaugural Southern States Off-Road Club Challenge. He's done enough out of the 8 rounds, your top 5 count. He's already done enough. Of course, he had the third outright finish recently at the Rainbow Riders 240, which secured that title. So well done to Pete Simpson and the whole crew there. South Australian stalwart Gary Turnbull, who we haven't seen out much over the last couple of years, but it's good to see Gary back on the track. Brendan Payne, we saw him have an outright victory at Sea Lake earlier in the season. Rainbow Risers winner and runner-up Glenn Pike and Evan Lampard, Darren Marks, Adam Enduro, Trent Gravestock, Steve Crow from Sea Lake, and Dave Hall are all other notables expected to challenge. I think, around 50 competitors across all classes. So Brendan Forsman's there, Heath Whedon's lining up again, Darren Ferguson, Darren Franklin. There's so many names that have been well supported for that new challenge, you could say. It's going to be a fascinating weekend. I think they do, as you said, just a Saturday racing, 180 kilometres over 12 laps, which is about 15 kilometre circuit.
Yep.
As I said, by all reports, no dust, lots of sand, limestone, of course, pine trees. Who's your tip for the Burrungule 180 for this year?
Mate, with sand, we've got a bit around here and know what sand's like after 5 laps alone. That many. But I think Glenn Pike, Evan Lampart, Steve Crow.
Yeah.
I think that them blokes will be there towards the end of Saturday's racing. They're my 3 picks.
Definitely, I'm with you with that one. I think Gary Turnbull, if he can produce the goods, he'll be another one hard to beat. But I'm like you. I think Glenn Pike showed some really good speed at the Pines Enduro only a couple of weeks ago. I think he was running 4th or 5th outright I'm not sure what happened to his Razorback, but he's always on the medal. And I think after his win at Rainbow Rises, I think he will be the man to beat at the Burrungule 180. So all the best to all those competing down there. Congratulations, Pete Simpson. Hopefully you finish the season on the high, mate. Daryl Nissen, who's currently 2nd, won't be there this weekend.
Yep.
And Heath Whedon, who's 3rd, he did say today he can drop to like 6th or 7th if he doesn't have a good run. So hopefully he has a belter and safe racing to all those competing. So George, it's a big few weeks coming up. It really is. I mean, we've got this weekend. You go to Mount Larkham, the Northern Territory titles. There's just so much going on now. Onto the big one, Kalgoorlie, Kempsey, Tasmanian Sand Dunes. So it's still a lot of races coming up. We'll do our best to bring you as much of those events on our show as possible over the next month or 6 weeks. Has been a busy time for us lately, but we're doing the best we can. And, so that's a wrap on tonight's show. Thanks again for joining me, mate. All the best to those competing at Burrungule this Saturday. But more importantly, stay tuned to the next episode of Frog Solo TV. Cheerio.